the first full day of Euro 2024, and it did not disappoint. A whole abundance of goals, some penalty VAR drama, and a lot more to talk about in this video. We're going to be reviewing all the games from yesterday and then taking a look into the games that kick off today at 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock and 8 o'clock. So make sure you do stick around till the end of this video so that you get all the information that you need heading in to day 2 of Euro 2024. So we start off by talking about the first game of the day. Now, it was a very, very interesting game between Switzerland and Hungary. Switzerland came out on top after about 12 minutes with Dua being put through on goal with a really, really nice pass and a really, really good finish. After a quick VAR offside check, that goal was confirmed to stand. Just before half-time, Switzerland scored again to make it 2-0. Heading into the second half, and it was a bit more of a tie, a bit more of a cagey affair between the two sides, as Hungary got themselves back into the game. After just 66 minutes, they scored a really nice goal, which put them back in the game, and it really opened up both sides of play. Breel Embolo, a player who literally just spawns every 2 years for an international tournament, pops up with a few goals and disappears again, came onto the pitch, obviously suffering injury problems over the past 18 months really. He comes back onto the pitch for Switzerland and scores a really, really nice goal with his strapping coming off his leg. It was a really, really interesting game, this one, for me. Now, if we do go and take a look at the lineups of the two sides, let's see if there's any players which you guys might recognise. Now, obviously, you've got the likes of Dominik Szoboszlai, you've got the likes of Freuler from Forest, Granit Xhaka, Akanji, Shaw. There's a lot of known names on this list. Now, the big thing for me, and if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner to stay tuned for all of my latest Euro 2024 content. We are going to be looking into the England game later on in this video, so make sure you do stay tuned for that. It's going to be right at the end of the video, so make sure you do stay tuned right the way until the end to hear my thoughts on what's going to happen in Group C. I think Hungary didn't quite, well, they may have expected it, they may not have. They just weren't able, in my opinion, to get hold of the ball and keep it in patterns of play. And I think Granit Xhaka and Freuler did that excellently in this game. Even the likes of Rodriguez and Akanji, when resetting and building from the back, I thought they were excellent in their build-up play. I did. And then going on to Hungary, I just think Szoboszlai didn't really get into the game. I think maybe that's a victim of being played a little bit further forward, given the fact that they have a bit of a lack of firepower at Hungary. And Szoboszlai, for me, he needs to be able to get on the ball and make things happen. And he reminds me a bit of not Harry Kane in the sense of a striker that drops in, but it reminds me of someone who needs to be able to get in, get on the ball and do things rather than waiting for the ball higher up the pitch where he's less likely to get it. He has less touches of the ball. For me, he's a player who needs to get as many touches on the ball as he can for this Hungary side if they want to get out of this group. Now, this obviously it doesn't end their chances of getting out of the group. Obviously, Scotland also lost in their game the night before. But for me, something that Switzerland were incredible at was that build-up play, was getting their good players on the ball. They got the likes of Xhaka, Freuler, Akanji, Rodriguez, the left wing-back, I can't say his name, but they got them on the ball and it was able to open up the space. And at points, although Switzerland looked like they set up in a 5-4-3, a lot of the time it was more of like a 4-3-3 with the left wing back being so advanced, Rodriguez pulling over to that left back position. And I think these are some things that you can't ignore when you're watching these games. I think Switzerland really controlled the game well, really pushed back the opposition players, and I think it's something that you cannot take away. I thought Hungary were excellent. I thought Switzerland were excellent. I thought Hungary just weren't quite there. We will take a quick look at the statistics. Well, we'll take a look at the league table first for this Group B and, well, Group A, sorry. And as you can see, Germany and Switzerland at the top, Hungary and Scotland at the bottom. Now, Hungary won't want Switzerland to be second, and Scotland won't want Germany to be second if they end up in third place. So obviously keep your eyes peeled for that one. We then take a quick look at the stats. It was very much a 50-50 game, especially going into the second half, but Switzerland, as you can tell, by far the better side. 2.37 xG, 15 shots to 6, 7 shots on target, 1 big chance missed, but they created 3 big chances in the game. I just felt like, as much when Hungary had the ball, you always knew they were going to give it away. Switzerland were probably the same, in all honesty. They just really did more with the ball. They were better at controlling the game, and they were much better at about literally just like getting players into the right areas. And I think the second half, especially towards the back end of the game, Hungary really sat off and let Switzerland really sat off and let Hungary keep hold of possession and really sort of dominate the game, really. And I do think that's where it did close up to 50% possession, because we will take a quick look at first half. And as you can see, Switzerland dominating, and then second half, Hungary were dominating. So that's just one to keep your eyes out on. We're going to take a look now into the next game. So Spain played Croatia in a game which I was really shocked with how it went, in complete honesty. I thought Spain were by far the much better side. The fact it ended 3-0, I think, was a bit of a injustice to Spain. I thought they created a whole abundance of chances. But we cannot forget to talk about the penalty drama. Now, I've seen a couple of replays back of Croatia's penalty decision. Now, I don't think it was a penalty in the first place. I think VAR and I think it was Michael Oliver, who was the referee, just couldn't not give it. They just didn't know how to not give that penalty. I thought the Croatia player dived in front of Rodri, and obviously the referee was unsighted. The fact that he didn't even go and check the monitor, the fact that VAR was not used in that circumstance correctly, in my opinion. I think it again shows that English referees cannot use VAR, because for me there was no way on earth that was a penalty. Now, let's not take away from the Spanish result. Winning 3-0, Morata, Fabian Ruiz and Dani Carvajal picking up the 3 goals. And I think it was an excellent performance from Spain. I think they were by far the better side. It's the first time I've really got to watch Yamal for a full game, and he did not disappoint. In my opinion, he was the best player on the pitch for Spain, always doing something, always running in behind, always trying to beat his man and create something. And he did get an assist for his troubles in his first ever major tournament, and I'm sure there's going to be many more. Now, Morata is one of those players, a bit like Briel Mbolo. I've got no idea where he's playing. I have no idea how old he is anymore. He just seems to pop up here and there with some really important goals. And the first goal in this game was absolutely massive. And he even had the captain's armband for Spain, which I thought was quite interesting. With Morata taking that captain's armband, he led by example, scoring that early goal. And I do think he put in a really good number 9 performance. Certainly one that I'd be happy to see at Derby County. Now, obviously, that's never going to happen. Way too good for Derby County, but he was excellent. I think Fabian Ruiz put in a really good performance. The likes of Pedri and Cucurella. Simon obviously put in a really good performance. Saved a penalty, which then got crossed back in, went in, then got disallowed for offside. Now, I think should have been a penalty retake, but it's one of those things. But Spain won't be complaining. Croatia, I don't really know what to think, because I thought at times during the game, I thought they were really good, and I thought they really sort of started to make stuff happen, but then Spain would hit them like on a couple of counter-attacks, get it up on the other end of the pitch and sort of keep them there for a while. And Croatia just didn't really know how to cope with that. I thought Modric was a bit quiet in the game, but it's one of those where if we do look at the possession stats, it might explain it a little bit more. Now, it says that Croatia had more of the ball. Now, if we do split it into first half again and second half, it is that being the case. Now, personally, I don't know if it's because it's not even that they were wasteful with the ball. I just felt like they were never really in dangerous positions. And even though they have more XG of 2.38 and they took more shots, Spain were more clinical. And I've spoke about this an abundance of times on this channel when reviewing games, especially about Bolton Wanderers in the League One last season, that if you do not take your chances, you cannot win games. Now, Croatia had 3 big chances, missed all 3. You obviously have the penalty goal disallowed incident, which I don't think it was a penalty anyway, but whatever. And it's just one of those things where I just don't think Croatia really got into the right positions to create the right chances to score goals, and they completed more passes than Spain. They had more pass accuracy than Spain. And for me, they just weren't quite at the races. And we'll take a look at the table for this group after the next one, because that's the final group game of this video. And we look at it now, it's Italy and Albania. Now, Albania started this game absolutely incredibly. An Italian mistake from a throw-in put Barami straight through on goal, scoring the quickest goal in European Championship history. Italy bounced back with 2 really nice goals from Bastoni and Barella to make it 2-1, and that is how this game ended. Now, as you can expect, Italy defending champions of the European Championships, and realistically, I don't think they were massively the better side. Don't get me wrong, I think they were excellent, but I don't think they were massively the better side against this Albania side. I think Albania have definitely shown that they are capable of performing at this level. I think they were very unlucky not to come away with something from this game, but that's just the case when you come up against the Italians. They're very good defensively, and despite the little slip up that they had in the first minute, there wasn't really many massive opportunities for Albania, in my opinion. Spain could have gone on to win by a few. Italy could have gone on to win by a few. Now, if we do look at the sides, there's obviously a lot to talk about with this Italian side. There's a few players missing from the last European Championships, but there is also a lot staying. You're obviously missing the defensive solidity of Bonucci and Chiellini, but I think Calafioroni and Bastoni stepped up remarkably. Di Lorenzo and DiMarco. Now, I know DiMarco's rating looks poor, but I think he was really, really good. I thought Di Lorenzo was excellent. Obviously, you've got Chiesa, who I think, if you're going to beat Italy, you have to shut down Chiesa. You've obviously got Jorginho and Barella in midfield. I thought 2 excellent performances from them. Jorginho, for me, is a player who I absolutely love. I think he's one of them players who, he doesn't do the fancy stuff. He's not sort of a heavy risk taker, but he gets on the ball. He moves it really, really well, and he gets players into the right positions. He gets himself into the right positions to move the ball up the pitch or progress the ball across the pitch. And I think that's something you cannot dismiss at this level. With England in the former Euro, well, it was Euro 2021 really, although it was 2022. No, it was Euro 2021, but it was called Euro 2020. I thought Declan Rice did that excellently for England that summer. Will Declan Rice do it again this summer? We'll talk about that later on in the video. But you've obviously got former West Ham striker Scamacca up front. I thought he had a fairly decent game, despite not really getting masses of opportunities. I thought Pellegrini was good, but we then go on to the Albania side. I thought they played really, really well. I thought they created some fairly okay opportunities considering the defensive solidity of Italy, but I thought they defended quite solidly for large parts of the game. Obviously, all the goals were in and done after 16 minutes. We never saw another goal after that, and I think Armando Broja's got to do more in this Albania side. He's got to want to get on the ball and make things happen for himself, and it took him really 60-70 minutes to do that, in my opinion. Then he got booked for flinging his arm, really, which could have been a red card on another day with another referee. But I think he was just a bit unlucky, really. Balls weren't really put into fairly good areas for him, but it's one of those for me where this Albania side were never expecting to beat Italy anyway. The fact they went 1-up was really good. It was really good for them to take a record at the European Championships. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this group does shake up, because I do think there's a possibility Albania may pick up points against Croatia. Now, if we do just take a quick look at the table, Spain lead, Italy in second, Albania third, and Croatia in fourth. Now, obviously, there's 2 more games in all of these groups, so make sure you do stick around for that. We're going to now take a look into Group C, talking about everything that could happen today. Now, the first game of the day is not Group C, it is Group D, with Poland facing Italy at 2 o'clock this afternoon. Now, this is going to be a very interesting game for me. I believe there's some doubts about Robert Lewandowski's fitness, which obviously opens the door at Poland for someone to come in and take that position. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens there. You've obviously also got the Netherlands playing now. There's a lot of talk about the Netherlands. There's a lot of big players missing out of this tournament, like the likes of Frankie de Jong is not available. And it's one of those for me that could be a really, really interesting it could be a really, really interesting performance. They don't really have a proper, class number 9. Yes, there's Xerxes, Memphis Depay, Weghorst, but none of them are sort of outrageously good at this point in their career. I think Memphis Depay never hit the levels I personally expected him to hit. I used to love him growing up as he was coming through at PSV, made that move to Man United, and I think it was the wrong move at the wrong time. I think he should have tried to get somewhere else, maybe a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, get into La Liga. I think he would have done much better for his development, but as you can see, as we're just scrolling through the squad now, there is some big names like the likes of Van Dijk, Ake, De Ligt, Frimpong, Matson. There's some really big names in there, but none of them are sort of to the level that you'd want really for a Netherlands side. And obviously this is an opportunity for Poland to get one up on the Netherlands. Now, if we do look at the sides that are predicted, you can see Xavi Simons and Cody Gakpo either side, Van Dijk and De Vries at the back 4. You then look at the Polish side with Szczesny, Kiwo, Moder, Zielinski. So there's a lot of players to talk about on both sides, but it is going to be interesting to see how this game closes out. We then take a look into the 5 o'clock kickoff in Group C. For all you English fans, you want to make sure that you do take a look at this. Slovenia play Denmark, and I think this is a massive game in the attempt for even first place, really. I think what we have to note in this league, in this group, is I think Denmark could top the group. I think they're a very, very good side. I think they can get the better of Slovenia and Serbia. Now, I'm personally not 100% sure how this one's going to go. I think in my predictions video a few days ago, I think I predicted that Serbia would come second, but I think there's every chance that Denmark do. Now, Slovenia do have some really good players in Benjamin Sesko, Jan Oblak. They've got some really good players in this squad, but then so do Denmark, with the likes of Højbjerg, Christian Eriksen and Rasmus Højlund, even the Barcelona defender Andreas Christensen. You've also got Kasper Schmeichel as well. There's a lot of players in here who a lot of Premier League fans will know well, even Anderson and Vestergaard, 2 big players from the Premier League. But it's one of those for me where this one could go either way. I think Sesko's got a bright future ahead of him. Now, it's one of those for me where this game could really determine the 2nd and 3rd place for me, because if it's a big win from Denmark, it ruins the Slovenia confidence and it gives the opportunity to Serbia for the 3rd place. Now, Derby County fans will know Timmy Maxelsnik in midfield. He came through at Derby County Academy, went on loan to a range of different clubs, and now finds himself at Olympia Ljubljana, and I think is a fairly decent player. Now, obviously, his stats aren't fully coming up here. So, as you can see on the right-hand side, 158 games for them, 27 goals from central midfield. Got a big future ahead of him at just 26 years old. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And to close out the big one, Serbia and England kick off at 8 o'clock on BBC iPlayer. It's going to be a very, very interesting game for me. There's a lot of talk about how England are going to line up. What's the back four going to be? Is Luke Shaw fit? That is a big question, because I think the difference between England getting to like the semis or the finals is whether Luke Shaw plays in this tournament. Now, Serbia are obviously a really, really good side. You've got the likes of Mitrovic, you've got Vlahovic, you've got both Milenkovic-Savic's, you've got Zivkovic, you've got so many good players in that team. Also, Dusan Tadic, the former Southampton man, is in there. And then you look at this England side, and I think my problem is the left-hand side for me. Who's going to start on the left wing? Who's going to start at left back? Is Alexander-Arnold going to start in midfield, or is it going to be a Conor Gallagher? Now, there's a few big questions for Gareth Southgate to answer. It's going to be really interesting to see how he does answer it. I would not be opposed in any way, shape, size or form for England to go sort of like 3-5-2. Although I don't know who I'd want to play as the third centre-back. So maybe 4-4-2 or like a diamond, because I think we've got some good players in this team who could really make a lot happen. Now, it is going to be interesting to see. Obviously, Stones has missed a couple of sessions of training this week, I believe, with a bout of illness. Luke Shaw appears to be back in training, but is he ready to play? Is he ready to even be on the pitch? It's going to be really interesting to see what does happen. Does FootMob have any injuries listed? No, I don't think it does, which is really good. I do think England should come out victorious of this game, and we will look at the table at the minute so you can see what teams are in it. Obviously, you've got Denmark, England, Serbia, Slovenia. Let me know who you think is going to take all 3 points in the games today. So if you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner to stay tuned for all of my latest Euro 2024 content. There's a lot going on over the next month, so make sure you do stay tuned, turn on that notification bell, smash the like button, and let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.